Chapter 15 is about how to use Scala string interpolators. So a string interpolator just lets you put variables and expressions inside of a string. So what I do in the book is I start with these two variables. So I'll paste those into the REPL. Then I note that you could print the name like that, the full name like that, but this is the better and much more preferred way to do these things. What I'm doing here is I embed, I have the two variable names, first name and last name, and then I embed those in the string. And the way this works is you start with the character S before the string, and that's the Scala's, let's just call it the basic string interpolator. And that allows us to put variable names in there, and we precede those variable names with the $sign as shown here. So it's $sign first name, $sign last name, and then that will print Alvin Alexander. And if you wanted to, you could also include those inside of these curly braces like this, though it's not needed when you do a single variable there, but those do become needed when you put an expression inside there. So I do have those here, so I will just copy and paste those rather than type from scratch. So here I'm putting an expression 2 plus 2 inside of these curly braces. So you see that result there. This is going to fail multiple levels if I take those out because $2 doesn't mean anything. And then my intention was to add 2 plus 2 there, and that won't work, without these curly braces. So again, anytime you want to have any sort of expression inside of a string interpolator, use the curly braces with the $sign as shown right there. And one other thing I need to mention also is I keep showing examples with print line, but it's important to know that the string interpolators the result of a string interpolator can be assigned to a variable like this. So I say val x equal that. And let me clear up that screen for just a moment and do that again. So here I say val x equals this interpolated string. So then x becomes a string and it has that result right there. So again, the key here is you don't, this can be used anytime, not just with print line. So I use it here to assign the result to a string. And then the next thing I want to show here is that there are other interpolators. So as I mentioned in the book, it seems a little awkward, like when you first start using this, it seems a little awkward that you have to put the letter S in there before an interpolator because other languages don't do that. But then once you start seeing these other interpolators, you see the wisdom of the approach. So the basic interpolator is that S one there. And then I mentioned like when you start using third-party libraries, like SQL libraries, a lot of times they will put the words, the characters SQL before a string, and that uses their SQL interpolator. So what happens is you can write your own interpolators. So SQL is one. And then the one I really want to mention here is this one is built in, and it's the F interpolator, and it's used for formatting. So I show an example in the book here about how this format string, how this format string leads to this output. And I don't want to get into this in too much detail because frankly, I can't remember it all. But if I go back through here, so I'll create a variable X and assign it to the value 10. And then I want to use that with the F interpolator. And so I can let me start with this one here. And let me do that result so you can see the result as well. So what's going on here is I start with the F interpolator right there, and then I'm creating a string with double quotes. And then I say, I want to use the variable $X. I'm sorry, I want to use the variable X. So I have to precede that with a $sign. And then I want to use this formatting symbol right there, the %5D. And %5D is kind of like a standard printf format. So if you come over to this excellent page here and just replace devdaily.net with alvinalexander.com, then you will see examples here controlling integer with printf. So you have examples like this, like %3D with different numbers here. And so that's what I'm doing here is I'm saying I want to print an integer, but give it 5 spaces. So it does that. And not a better, but another way to demonstrate that is I go back here and now I say instead of %5D, I say %05D. And that 0 fills that 10 area. So here I had 3 spaces, 1 0, and then this one 0 fills it. So I have 3 zeros followed by the 1 0. This works again because I'm using the F interpolator. That will not work with the S. And just to demonstrate that, that's a totally different result, not what you want. So whenever you want to format output, use the F interpolator. And then when you come over here, Let me fix this for you. That's better, right? So this page gives you a summary, my summary of the printf format specifiers, so character, decimal, so on and so forth. And then when you're controlling integer width, you use percent like that. Then when you want to left justify or zero fill, you use that. And then I explain those more here. And then this page goes on for some time and I show more characters that you can use. So Scala, like Java, uses all these printf style formatters, and then you just use them with the F formatter. And again, the purpose of this book is to give you really short lessons, then give you examples that I show here and in the GitHub repository. And then finally, I want you to go over it here and work the exercises. So the URL is shown up here at the top, and it's also shown there in the book. So in this case, come to string interpolators, and then I have these exercises here. And so you could choose one, check your answer, and then just keep working through those exercises. And then when you're done, you'll come back to the exercise list. So in summary, that was a video version of chapter 15 from my book, Learn Scala 3 the Fast Way. And this lesson is about using string interpolators in Scala. My name is Alvin Alexander, and I hope you enjoyed this.